Tying up another wet fly from Ray Bergman's book Trout. This is the Cupsuptic. Don't know much about the history of this fly, other than it is, I think, named after, it's a Maine fly that's named after a lake up in Maine because there is a Cupsuptic lake. It's a very interesting pattern. Don't know exactly what initially it was trying to imitate. It's got a nice bright yellow tail, a tinsel body with a palmered hackle. The wing on it is kind of unique in the wet flies in that it has the wing plus it has a wing, what's called a wing topper, and that's the Guinea fowl. It's not married in there, it's just put on top of it, as well as the head has a small collar of Peacock Herl at the back end. It can be kind of an intimidating pattern, but once you tie a few of them and you get the hang of it, they're actually pretty straightforward to put together. Just got to take a little bit more care in it. That is the Cupsuptic. I'll get started tying. I'm going to start the Cupsuptic with my hook on the vise. This is a Mustad 3399 in a size 6, just your standard wet fly hook. I'm going to debarb the hook and attach my thread. For thread, I'm using a Danville 70 Denier in black. The body on the Cupsuptic is just silver tinsel, so I don't have to worry about darkening up floss or anything like that. I can just use the black thread on this. I'm going to stop about the point of the hook. Here I'm going to tie in the tail. There is no tip on the Cupsuptic, but there is a tail, and the tail is just some yellow hackle. I'm using some yellow schlappen. So I'm going to get these perpendicular to the rachis so the tips are even. Strip that off. And I'm going to tie these in so they're about a hook length long off the back. I like the tails a little bit longer. Advancing my thread rearward as I am binding that in. I'm going to trim off the butt ends of these just a little bit of taper. Still will have a little bit of a bump right there. There is a hackle on this. There's no throat or collar on it, but the hackle is a palmered hackle, and it uses a red hackle. I'm using some red, this is strung rooster, because it's just a little bit stiffer than a schlappen. You want to get one that the resulting barbs are going to be about at least 1 to 1.5 times the gap of the hook. That one's a little bit long. So you have to sometimes kind of root through your strung bunch here to find one that's going to work for you. I'm going to isolate the tip here, and I'm going to stroke these barbs rearward. That's just to get them out perpendicular from the rachis. They'll wrap in a lot easier. It also helps me see after about 5 wraps, I'm going to end up back here. That gives me about 1.5 times the gap of the hook. I'm going to bind this in. I want to bind this in with the dull side down so that as I wrap this in, the barbs tend to take on a rearward direction. Wrap that in a couple more wraps, working my way down. I should be just between the point and the barb right now. Now I'll tie in the tinsel. For tinsel, I'm using it. This is a Danville silver and gold mylar in a size 12. I got unraveled on me there. Actually, I'm not going to tie in the tinsel right here because what I want to do is tie in, or I should say apply a double layer of tinsel for the body. I am going to put a little wax on my thread. I've done some, not a lot of the wet flies have had tinsel bodies, but if you see any of the Carrie Stevens streamers I've tied, often they have a tinsel body. And those videos, I do the same thing. I want a double layer, as I'll explain in just a moment. So I'm going to tie this in with the gold side up right here. And I'm not quite up to the back of the head space. I'm a little bit forward. That way I can fold this over to the silver side like this. Fold it out of the way. And I'm going to put a small layer of Dave's Flex Cement onto those thread wraps. Problem with the Mylar tinsel is has a lot of memory. So when you have this wrapped in and you're wrapping it in, and if you inadvertently lose your grip on it, it will start to unravel right away. Well, the same thing happens if you're fishing this and you happen to hit something sharp in the water, or a toothy fish, a little tooth or something breaks that tinsel, the body can come unwrapped. Now, this does have the wrapped hackle, or I should say the palmered hackle on it, which is going to kind of act as a rib on it to protect it. So it may not come unwrapped as much, but anytime I'm doing these, I like to do a double layer and a little bit of Flex Cement just to help bind that tinsel down a little bit more and secure it just a little bit more. Now, the reason for the double layer has to do more with it's easier to get a nice smooth body. Right here, you can see I've got a few little gaps that the thread is showing through. If I just do a single layer, I have to take much greater care, making certain each wrap is just touching the other one. This way, I don't have to be quite as careful, because if I'm overlapping just a little bit, the second layer is going to come in and it's going to cover up anything showing through on the first layer, generally speaking. And you end up with just a nice smooth layer of tinsel for the body. Now I will palmer the red hackle forward. I want to fold the barbs rearward. If I can, I just want to make certain I'm not getting any of them trapped underneath this. When I do this, I like to get one wrap right at the back end. Then I'll start wrapping forward, and I want the same 5 even spaced wraps. If I were doing a rib on this fly, I would have 5 evenly spaced wraps going in right here. The third is going to be right about the middle of the hook shank. The fourth, fifth is going to be right at the end, but because there's no collar on this, I'm just going to put in another wrap right here at the very end as a collar, just to give it a little bit more body, more presence. I'm going to wrap that down and trim away the excess. That one ended up kind of sloppy. Give me 1 second, clean this up just a little bit. I'm going to take just a little bit of time to clean that up. Then wrapping down to the eye and rearward, I'm going to smooth this off for a place for our wings. The wing on the Cupsuptic is just some brown turkey or even mottled turkey. You want to take your bodkin or your scissors here and just kind of run it down the top of the hook shank and push those barbs to the left and right, making a little bit of a V right in there for the wings set in. I'm using some kind of a light brown mottled turkey on this. I've got my 2 slips already cut. I'll match those up, peel those off, keeping in mind your turkey, when you're making the wings on these, the tips are always narrower. The barbs on these narrow up greatly. So this is much wider than anything I would use on a wing on a fly this size. But as you get out to the tips here and where that's going to get tied in, now it's not, it's still kind of wide, but at the same time, kind of have to get the wing the length that you want. I want to match the tip ends first, get those matched up, and then double check the slip on my side is just a barb or two wider. So I want to reach in with my bodkin, pull those out. Now I have both slips that are the same width. I'm going to put this in so the tips is just halfway down. With the turkey, I like to pinch the thread right here so it's not pulling down on the wing. Then with my right hand holding that wing, my left hand rolls off a little, and my left hand's really pinching the wing and the hook, while my right hand pushes down a little to assist in collecting that turkey down to the hook shank. Now a bunch of it slipped off to one side because I was walking and trying to chew gum at the same time there. We'll try that again. A little more focused on what I'm doing. There, it happened to just slip off to the side because it wasn't quite as tight. Sometimes you have to do this 2 or 3 times. Often, once you're tying a bunch of these and you get the hang of them, you don't. They tend to go in fairly smooth and easy. There we go. Now that one flipped off to the side too. Okay, we'll try one more time. Sometimes you even get slips of feather that no matter what you do, they will not cooperate. I don't think that's the case here. I think I'm trying to, that got a little uneven too. I think I'm just trying to do this. And of course, there is the curse of doing this for the camera. That's a little bit better. Okay, we'll go with that. This is going to be mostly a fishing fly. Clean that up just a little bit. When you are cleaning these things up, just be a little bit careful. That wing just does not want to cooperate. So I am going to cut another wing here real quick. Sometimes you compress those too many times, they just don't want to cooperate. So let me try that one more time. I'm going to cut my left and then my right. Taking my left out, I'll now match my right. Now, not so much yammering from me. Look what you can get done when you're concentrating. Again, as I was saying, when you're cleaning this up just a little bit for the next step, careful on your thread wraps. It's going to be a little bit different head because we have a topper to put in the wing of guinea fowl. So this is just your African guinea right here. This is a flight feather. I've cut out a little slip, just about 4 barbs. So there's one for the left side, one for the right side. You're going to lay these up about the same length as the wing, but these are going to come right onto the side of the head. You may have to get a wrap or two on and fiddle with them because you want them to just lay on the side of the wing. Don't despair if it gets kind of hard in doing this because you're just dealing with 4 little slips of this feather. And I got 5 there, so I have to take 1 out. But if you're like me, with big fat old fingers, sometimes it can be a challenge to get these in, get them positioned where you want them, get them to where they're staying in place. Everything else, just be slow and take your time with it. Try not to force anything. I have about 3 wraps. I've got 6 wraps on this side of that guinea fowl to hold it in place and 3 there. But if I hold this now and just lightly put a few more wraps on there, that cleans things up a little bit and it binds those in, and that guinea fowl topper just works great. Now there's a little bit, half the head is taken up by a little collar of Peacock Herl. I'm just using some of this as a peacock eye here. You could certainly get some longer Herl or fuller Herl if you want. It's up to you in terms of how long you want that to be. It's just a slight collar on the back side of this head. So I'm just going to put in 3, maybe 4 wraps. So that's right about it. That's all I want. Just about 4 wraps of that peacock. Trim away the excess. Be careful at this point that you're just putting the thread under enough tension to clean this up a little bit. We're not getting back into that collar and laying it down. I'm going to go ahead and flatten my thread. I'll put in a whip finish. Turkey wing could have been just a little bit thicker, I think. Now I'm going to put just a half a drop of head cement on here. This is a fly tied head cement. And I'll come back with a little bit of gloss and a little bit of black lacquer to brighten up that head. I'm going to, for myself, I'm going to err on the side of less is more. So if I am putting in the lacquer on there and I don't want to get it too close to that peacock Herl because it can wick up into it and flatten that peacock Herl. So if I have to, I'd rather leave it with just a little bit of head cement on it and it'd be just fine. So there is the Cupsuptic. I don't mind telling you this is a fly years ago that intimidated me a lot simply because the Palmered Hackle, it's getting the proportions right is more the bigger thing. The wing toppers, which not a lot of wet flies have, but they are common, and the peacock herl in the head can be kind of intimidating. Take your time with it. You can get it worked out. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.